So, Diedre and I first met, let's get these chairs out. Yeah. Diedre and I first met in preparation for another panel at ITC, and I was most impressed by her experience, over 20 years of experience, driving acquisition of future customers for the likes of Compare.com and Elephant Insurance and Genworth. And today, Diedre leads the charge on acquiring customers at Onstar Insurance by GM, which is a usage-based, telematics-based insurance company. So Onstar is very differentiated in their offering. They've got a mountain of data to call from. They have various different ways and numerous customizable ways to engage with their consumers inside of vehicles and outside of vehicles, and I think a real interest in creating long-lasting relationships. So I'm very excited to have you here today, Diedre.
Thanks, we hope the same thing.
So, thank you. So the environment today, as I said, is pretty volatile for a lot of traditional carriers. Why is now a great time for Onstar Insurance and poised for growth? I'll leave you to it from there.
Sure. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. So why is it changing? So I think thank you, appreciate it. So let's see. Okay. So first of all, we have some new entrants into the space that haven't been around, right? So now there's Tesla Insurance, there's Toyota, there's a lot of manufacturers getting into the space that have not been there. Secondly, as Jeff pointed out, there are changes happening. So with COVID, meant people weren't driving to offices anymore. And then they said, hey, well, if I'm not driving, the last thing I want to do is continue to pay these high premiums for insurance. So I'm going to go and transition and shop to whatever the dongle, the mobile device that you have. What are they going to use? With that, current carriers have now said, hey, we have to make some changes. Shopping is up, which usually happens in a high inflation environment. And so now we're making price changes because there's not as many accidents, but then we're starting to have accidents again. As you can see, it's been known that Geico has come out and said they are not having call centers anymore for the current moment. Progressive has said, hey, we're cutting back significantly on ad spend, but they did say, hey, we're going to start spending some more, so who's going to come join the movement, right? And the last thing that's also happening in the market is not just the information that came out today with the privacy. So California is getting ready to go into their second iteration of privacy. There's other states joining them, but there's also states that are taking the movement towards what are the bias risks that we can remove. And now Washington has just joined the set of other states that are out there regarding taking out credit. So there's a lot of disruption that is getting ready to happen. They talk about connected and embedded, and so I'm going to talk a lot about that today. Who's Onstar Insurance? As Jeff mentioned, we come out of General Motors. We have a mission to be a part of the safer environment that our CEO, Mara Barra, has come out and stated. We have launched nationally. We are actually 18 months old and probably the fastest rollout in history we have a product offering of auto insurance in 51 jurisdictions. So, I'm tired. Secondly, as we talked about the connected side of things, we have this new data. So we have actually been collecting consent for several years, believe it or not. Tesla has only been doing it for as long as they've been around. We've been doing it much longer with the power of Onstar. And so what we've been able to do is take our proprietary score, and it's now offered in 4 states to offer lower pricing to GM drivers. So we have 4 states right now, and we will be in 20 by the end of the year. We also have an exceptional digital experience that we're working towards. So if anybody owns a GM vehicle, if you're not familiar, that's a Cadillac or a Chevy. If you own those and you have the Chevy or Cadillac Buick GMC app, you can get Onstar Insurance directly in your app. And then lastly, as Jeff had pointed out, talking about our white glove claims experience. So every GM vehicle since 1996 has the Onstar button in there. And as part of that OnStar button, we know where you are, what accident you've been in, what kind of car you drive, and we can take care of you and get you back on the road faster than anyone else. And I think to the point of strategy and marketing being a seat at the table, marketing is definitely one of those costs that impacts the insurance business as well as claims and your price. So we deserve a seat. All right, so what makes us different? Just to quickly highlight, we had talked about the telematics, so this kind of shows the OnStar that we've been collecting and gaining consent for years. But we're able to talk to customers and engage with them in different scenarios that many folks out here don't, right? So we know when somebody is going to get into their car, and we can talk to them through their car, and we can coach them on their driving behaviors. And when you have that relationship and you engage with those folks, you actually decrease losses and claims by 24 to 35%. So saving money. Ooh, we'll take it. Secondly, we talked about safer drivers. So Mary Barra has come out and said that there's a 0, 0, 0, so 0 crashes, 0 emissions, and 0 congestion initiative within General Motors. Obviously, we know that accidents will happen. We can't control the deer jumping out, but what we can do is that we can take the leverage and the data that we have to empower you to be a safer driver. So part of that is not only how we're building the vehicle, so the adaptive cruise control, we have the monitoring of the rear collision mitigants in place, but that also allows you to be a safer driver and therefore gives you discounts on your driving and your insurance. And lastly, the big, other thing that everybody's talking about is embedding insurance. So as we said, we will know, talking about the proactive, so we will know when somebody's lease is about to end. 60% of Cadillac drivers own a lease. We know all of that. Not many other insurers know when your lease is getting ready to end. And as part of that, that allows us to deliver our right message that we've talked about. What is the right message for the right person, the right channel at the right time? And part of that, as I said earlier, is we are already integrated in apps. We are already integrated in your online buying experience within the GM ecosystem right now. And so lastly, to kind of pivot away from insurance, some things that we talked about are what are things that you can do. So one of the big ones is focusing on technology. So you can't just do it alone. Just start to develop your stack. As I said, we're 18 months old. We don't have it figured out. We're building the plane literally as we fly it. But take the steps to do that. Figure out what are your use cases, what is going to drive in the biggest reward, the lowest hanging fruit. Work through that process. Stay disciplined. So we all like to say squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. But find out what is the path that you're going to take that Charlene had pointed out and work towards that. You can't keep adding everything on. You have to take things off, but stay on the path. Thirdly, I'd say accept failure. So I know we talked about failure, but we actually, in our organization, we talk about what have we done that hasn't worked and why. And we make sure that we give all of those employees who take that initiative to go out there and try something new, the platform and the stage in front of all the executives to talk about those things. And what are they going to do next? It's just your first attempt in learning, but we have to figure it out. We're going to break it. It's never going to work. And lastly, what we talked about is build partnerships. So I think it's really important. There's data everywhere. So there's data in your home, there's data in your car, there's data listening to you right now. But you know what? Join the movement, build those partnerships, because the data that you're using today, your first-party data, needs to be informed by other data streams out there to make it even better and more powerful, so that way you can save money and acquire those people at the right cost. So I just encourage all of you to take this opportunity to network, to be able to grow your company. So that's what's going on in OnStar Insurance.
How long is it going to be before I'm driving my Tahoe and they say, hey, you could have saved $150 on insurance?
Well, not that far. Because if you're connected and you've agreed, we already kind of know.
Right.
And so we can tell you, it's just, it's where we're getting there. It's on the roadmap.
Really exciting, especially in this market to see all this growth and opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.